So today we're going to go over shading our collage and drawings in. We want to make the transition from drawing to photograph feel as realistic as possible. So you can't tell the difference between where the photograph starts and where the drawing ends. So a nice merging, a collision of the two. After you're done drawing it in pencil, you're going to use what's called an ebony pencil, which is a softer lead to get really dark shades. A blending stump, which is a soft, kind of mushed up paper that makes really nice blends. You can get some good gray tones. And then a kneaded eraser, which is where you can pull some lighter tones if your blending goes a little out of control when you start to shade. So when you shade, couple of suggestions I have for you. Number one is to actually just kind of start by re-establishing the edge of your drawing. So kind of that outline that you created, those details, just going over them with the ebony, just to kind of re-establish where those items are. I'm gonna make the little spot here on this guy. I'll do another spot right here, and I'll do a spot right here, and I'll do a spot right here. If you have items that would naturally be a different color, like a darker tone or a lighter tone, you can first shade just with that knowledge. So for example, the spots, I know that they're gonna be darker, so I'm gonna shade those in versus the fur right here is gonna be light like it is here, so I'm not gonna shade it in, okay? Another strategy you can do for shading is making something look more 3D, more rounded. So what I do is if there's ever an under area, so for example, where this crease happens, I'm going to give a little bit of gray shading. Also on the sides of a rounded object, I'm going to give a little bit of gray shading, which means I'm just going to kind of lightly go around the edge to give it some value, some shadow, because it's further from our light source. So it would have a little bit of gray versus having the light area. Then I'll take my blending stump and I'm gonna first blend in any dark shades that I did, like the spots, make those nice and soft looking. And then I'm gonna take that gray around the side of his tentacles. And do you see how I'm pushing that gray into the middle of the tentacle to make it look more 3D, more cylinder-like? See how much more three-dimensional that looks versus these tentacles over here that have no shading on them. I do like to leave the center area lighter in tone, okay? And then I can add some more spots if I want to. And again, those are just that dark value, just like the giraffe would be, because I'm trying to keep this realistic, even though it is surreal. Add a couple of spots in here, little spots right there. All right. The lighting is kind of bad in here. I'm going to turn down the light for a second here. Don't mind me. Should have done that before I started recording, but oh well, too late now, right? All right. So again, you know, another suggestion is ground level shadows that you can create, or we call cast shadows. So for example, the object like a mouse, it would be sitting, and on the ground that he's sitting on, you would actually see a shadow underneath where he's sitting, especially if this is an object that's on the floor. You can create a nice shadow. This is like his body over here. This nice cast shadow, and always runs parallel with the floor line. That's assuming if he's standing upright. Now, if he's laying down, then you might have a shadow that's going around the outer edge. So definitely it's going to be a challenge as an artist to determine, you know, where shadows should go, what makes sense, where values should go. But at the end of the project, you want to make sure that all of your things have value. Everything from the background to any object that you drew should all have value, right? Shading value, same idea. All right, so this is what we're going to continue to work on today. This is not going to be due today. It'll be due on Thursday's class. Thank you.